Hey everybody, Candie with my back office coach here, and no glitches so far this time. I apologize for yesterday and having the technical difficulties. I'm just gonna do a little screen fixing here. I'm not, real experienced at this, so I want to make sure I'm looking at the right people here. So let's see, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about QuickBooks Online, the online version. So it's hosted in the cloud. That's why it's called QuickBooks Online. It can be accessed from anywhere in the, no matter where you are, on your computer, somebody else's computer, your phone. There's a really nice app for it as well. There is, I'm trying to think, there's an app for your phone and there's an app for the tablet. So anyway, I have some questions that people have asked me about QuickBooks Online, and I'm going to go ahead and answer them. If you have a question you want to ask, feel free to post it below. If you're watching the video later after I've posted it and I'm off live video, feel free to send me a private message or post your question in the comments. I'll be checking, and I will be happy to answer them either here or on a video or wherever. You can also send me an email. My email is candy@mybackofficecoach.com, and Candie is spelled C-A-N-D-I-E. So I look forward to any questions that you might have, and I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So question number 1 is from Angela in Pennington, New Jersey, and she asked me, how do I determine if QuickBooks Online will work for my business? So the biggest thing is, I think really you need to talk to a professional and explain your business. What do you sell? Do you sell products? Do you sell services? Subscription type based business, and where do you sell? Do you sell local? Do you sell everywhere? Do you sell in person? Do you sell online? There's a lot of different things that come into play as to what version of QuickBooks you should use. And when I say what version, I mean QuickBooks desktop version, where you actually receive, you download the software and install it on your computer, or the QuickBooks Online version, which is what I'm talking about today. Which one would be best for you? And then the desktop version, there are many different types. There's one for various different industries like manufacturing, construction, accounting, whatever. So, and there's a very, very basic desktop version, and then there's a very intricate, more expanded version for bigger businesses that have more detail and sell more things, job costing and all that kind of stuff. So QuickBooks Online is very basic. But it does get the job done. So the best thing to do is talk to a professional, explain things, and they will help guide you. And you don't have to use QuickBooks. QuickBooks is not the only program out there. It's just, I tend to address QuickBooks because that's what people are asking me. I'm constantly getting questions about QuickBooks. But there are other cloud-based accounting programs out there, like FreshBooks. There's trying to think of the other one. I think you pronounce it Xero, but it's X-E-R-O. And then there's another one I just learned about yesterday, and I'm drawing a total blank on it. I think it's like drawn a blank, Soho something or other. But anyway, you don't certainly have to use QuickBooks. It's just that you're going to find a lot of people who can help you with QuickBooks. So that's the best way to determine what's right for you, what version is right for you. So next question is from James in Kearney, Nebraska. This is a longer question. I am in the construction business and have a lot of different jobs of all sizes going at one time. I need to keep track of each job and to be able to see where my costs are at any given time, and be able to compare them with my projections for that job. I also need to make sure that I'm billing at the correct percentage of completion for each job. Does QuickBooks Online do detailed job costing? No. QuickBooks Online does not do job costing at all. It doesn't do basic job costing. It doesn't do detailed job costing. So if you're in a business, you know, you can be in a construction business and still use QuickBooks Online. It just depends on how big your business is and how many projects you have going and how you like to look at those projects. If you want to be able to have all that information in QuickBooks and pull that information on reports at any given time and be able to compare numbers and you know, see where you're at with the information from QuickBooks, then QuickBooks Online is not the one for you to use. It would be far better to use the QuickBooks desktop version that is, there's one made for the construction industry. So it would make much more sense. Let's see, next question. This one is from Rudy in Appleton, Wisconsin. And let's see, I have a small business that is completely service-based, but I need to generate 1099s. Wait a minute. I have a small business that is completely service-based. Oh, and I need to generate 1099s. Can QuickBooks Online do this? Yes, absolutely. QuickBooks Online does offer 1099s. There's a plugin, I believe, that works with QuickBooks Online, pulling the information from there and helping you print the 1099s. It's pretty seamless from what I have seen and what I've experimented with. So to me, QuickBooks Online really is a great program for a service-based business. I think there are many different ones that it's good for, but a service-based business, in my opinion, if you don't need job costing, is a really good fit for QuickBooks Online. Okay, next question from Yvonne in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Does QuickBooks Online handle full payroll features and payroll taxes? Yes, absolutely it does. Your price that you pay a monthly fee for QuickBooks Online, and you pay based on the type of the level of service that you need in QuickBooks. So there's a basic and there's a plus and there's like a premium. I can't think what it's called at the moment, but you select your level, and then if you need payroll or don't need payroll. So you say you select the plus version, then you select plus with payroll, and then you can even have them process your payroll. So then it's a little more. So it's you doing payroll or them doing payroll. That way you always have the up-to-date payroll tax tables. You don't have to worry about being out of date and calculating your taxes wrong. So QuickBooks will keep track of, QuickBooks Online will keep track of your liabilities, the payroll taxes that you need to pay and when you need to pay them, just like the desktop version. So it's, you know, might not be quite as smooth as the desktop version for payroll. However, from what I've seen of QuickBooks Online, just in the last few months, they're constantly adding features. They're making it better. You know, it's kind of a work in progress, I really think. And so I really think they're going to be adding more payroll features, making it more user-friendly, more streamlined, and I think they're going to add job costing. I would bet $1 million that they're going to add job costing within a year. They're going to get it up to speed with the huge, bigger versions of QuickBooks that you use on your desktop computer. It's just going to take some time. So I think as it becomes more popular, they're going to find that they have to do that. So so it does do payroll. Next question is from Denisha in Morris, Connecticut. she asks about sales tax. Does QuickBooks Online track sales tax, and can you sell in multiple states? Yes, QuickBooks does keep track of sales tax, and yes, you can set up multiple states. You record your sales in QuickBooks, or you can import transactions from different sales programs. There's different add-ons and apps that will work with it and bring that information in if you're using a different program to sell, say selling online like via Amazon or eBay, whatever. Or you can enter everything yourself either way. So, but it does do sales tax. Let's see. Next question is from Kaskin in Bloomville, New York. He says, my company has employees living in 6 different states. Can QuickBooks Online handle this? Yes, it can. It really just depends when you can increase as you go. So plus with payroll, and it's 1 state only. And then you can add more states. So it's a certain amount for each state you add. But you absolutely could add 6 different states. And then it will track all the state sales tax for each different state, and when you need to pay it, and that kind of thing. Same with unemployment taxes. You've got to accrue and pay unemployment taxes in all those states. So it will do all of that stuff, and the more it increases, especially in regards to payroll. Okay, next question. I just want to remind anybody that's watching, if you post them in the comments or send me a private message, and I would be happy to answer those. Quick check for any questions. Looks like there's 1 question, so I will add that on to the end. Let's see, where are we at? This next question is from Leona in Lubbock, Texas, and she asks, how do I decide if QuickBooks Online in my business as compared to just purchasing the desktop version and being done with it? Okay, so looking at the desktop version, you would need to purchase and looking at the price, and then you've got to look at the desktop version. You get also purchase the payroll tax table updates package that's right for you, and you have to have it right from when you start doing payroll. So if you're going to buy a $350 version of QuickBooks Desktop, then you are, in addition to that, going to have to subscribe to the payroll tax table update service, and that is pricey per year. I'm trying to think. I think it's pushing $400, something like that. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's not cheap. If you want to know more about that, you can contact them directly, or you can send me a message, send me an email, send me a private message, and I will look it up for you. So right off the bat, you are going to spend $300 and some odd dollars, $400 every year to update your payroll tax tables. And if you want to keep a current version of the software every year, which is, I don't recommend anyone uses a version older than 2 years, you're going to pay $300 and some dollars for a new version every year, depending on what version you want. But then QuickBooks Online, it depends on what level you want, and if you get the pricing, which I can get you, get the pricing and compare it. And then you have to remember with QuickBooks laptop from your office computer, home computer, your friend's computer, your parents' computer, whatever. However, that is full online will work for you. Then you have to weigh the pros and cons of that ease of access. The nice thing about the cloud version is that your accountant, bookkeeper, teaching you, training you, they have easy access. It's all secure, but it's very nice to be able to just hop. Oh, yeah, you did this wrong, you did that right, yep, you're good to go, whatever. Very nice to be able. I'm more than happy to help you figure out to go to QuickBooks Online. Okay, so let's see. Let me go to my message, bring that up. And let's see. Oh, okay, so the person's name. So the question is it hard to convert my QuickBooks desktop company file to QuickBooks Online? And the answer depends. It depends on how much detail you have in there, how many years of information you have in there. It's not necessarily how it can get a little, what do I want to say, mixed up. Mixed up's not a good word. A little bit confused when it's imported into QuickBooks Online. My own company file a couple months ago from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online. I don't have a ton of detail in there because I'm service-based. I just, I don't have a ton of inventory. So there was not a ton of information. However, I have a bunch of different items in there and vendors and all that kind of thing. And I was really happy because I was concerned. I've heard some horror stories from people. So and right now with the beginning of a new year, if you want to take the chance of something getting all messed up going into QuickBooks Online, now's the time to start fresh in QuickBooks Desktop for prior years online to record some year-to-date numbers and previous balances and that kind of thing. But you can go back to the desktop version for the detail. Happy to help. Let's see. Then I had one more question here that I wasn't sure about. In bank feeds for downloads in QuickBooks Online? And the answer is yes, most of the time. I was trying to help a client the other day, and we were trying to do the bank feed to Fifth Third Bank, and for some reason, having a heck of a time. They have a whole other company file that we have Fifth Third tied in on their bank feed, and it works just fine. But we had an issue with Fifth Third last week for several days, so I haven't tried it again to see if Fifth Third's got that straightened out or not, but hopefully they do. QuickBooks was going to work on the same thing as well and try to figure that out for us. But the bottom line is it's fairly easy. I tied in my own bank, which is a credit union, and tied it into my QuickBooks Online company file. Snap, worked perfect. Downloaded all my transactions transactions, and now anytime I'm in QuickBooks Online in my company file, I can easily just update that and it'll bring in all the transactions, and so I'm looking at real-time information in my register, my checking register in QuickBooks Online, which I love. So it's best to have someone help you a little bit with that kind of stuff, but you can always try it if you're daring to do it on your own. Many people have done it. Okay, so that's the end of my questions. I don't have any more. Let me check my direct or private messages again and just make sure if anybody has posted. All right, let's see. Nope, I don't see any new comments. Not that I can find anyway. Okay, so that's the end of the question and answer. Period. If you happen to hop on here in the next few minutes, feel free to post your question. Happy to answer it, or again, send me an email or a private message, and I am more than happy to answer that. So just to tell you a little bit about what I do and how I can help you, I hope you'll stick around for a few minutes and listen. I have been a bookkeeper for well over 25 years. It's kind of what I've always done since I got out of high school, and have had the opportunity to learn from some of the best people around. And so just last year I started going, doing more training. So learn what they need to know in their small business and how they can set up QuickBooks or any accounting system, not using a computer, helping people understand sales tax in their business, payroll in their accounts payable and accounts receivable, and or if they're going to do things themselves, how to find a good accountant, all of that kind of to be sure to look at. Most people I work with before they set up their business, however, many people it's after that they've been in business for just 1 year. Oh my gosh, we need to get it together here. We need to some setup. So that's what I'm helping them in QuickBooks Online, and then they'll take it over, and then once a month I will assist them financials and make sure everything's classified properly and any issues that I see. Now I do the same thing for people. No problems. I do the quarterly payroll forms when needed, annual payroll forms, the W-2s, 941 returns,